Oh, what's going on, everybody? I am not Christian Piles. I am JD Radar. This is episode 666. We did 666.
We survived.
You wanted to be
Thursday, I know.
Too bad. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Anyway, I am JD Radar. I am joined by David Bay, Ben Askren. CP is somewhere in the Rocky Mountains on vacation, but that's okay. The show must go on without him.
So
Got a lot to talk about today. Kind of the dog days of summer in wrestling news, but with the NIL now being 1 week active, the new rules July 1st, there's a lot of exciting stuff going on.
What's CP doing? Is he gone all week?
He's gone all week.
All week, okay.
Vacation.
Well, the Rockies. Got it. And he's not going to Fargo. What a slacker.
I know, right?
Seriously.
Bray, are
You're
you
be
going
there
to
all
Fargo?
week, right, Ben?
I'll be there all week. Well, not the Greco portion, but I will be there for the 4 days of freestyle and the one then the day before.
Me too.
5
Me
days.
too.
Fargo's plenty.
Fargo
I think
time.
we do have to do a show live from Fargo.
I think we should do a live show. I think we should just tell Christian he's out. Sorry, you didn't come to Fargo, and we do our own live show at the Fargo Dome. I think it'd be legendary.
Yeah, but there's no. I think there's no other option. We got to do it.
Have to.
Absolutely.
All right. Anyway, back to the NIL stuff. Some guys already taking advantage. AJ Ferrari partnered with Nearfall. He's already selling T-shirts. What else we got? Gable Steveson partnered with GoPuff.
Hold on. I have something really important. What is this Barstool? You guys are younger than me, I believe.
Yes.
So maybe you could. I don't understand what they're doing. So usually with the sponsorship, it's like, oh, they're sponsored by, Nearfall, and he wears Nearfall clothing, and he thinks you should wear Nearfall clothing. He's got some really cool get-ups or something, But with the bar, what is the deal? Are they like going to put on a wrestling card with them? Is that legal? Are they going to have them do some type of news segment? What are they going to do with them?
I don't think they know.
No.
So here's
How much are they paying them?
I don't know that they're paying them at all. So here's what
$0.
we saw. First, we saw, I think RBY was first.
Mm-hmm.
Gable
Yep.
Steveson, Spencer Lee. So it felt like Barstool was going after these big name college athletes, even from sports like wrestling. But then I went to the Twitter account that's putting these athletes out as official athletes, and there's like an application you can fill out where you enter your name, your sport, your IG profile, your Twitter account, whatever, and then your merch size, and then they announce you. I think they announce almost everybody, because now we're seeing like
a lot.
Caleb and Lance Runyon. We're seeing all kinds of athletes that are now Barstool
Basically the
athletes.
entire Iowa lineup.
Yeah, anybody.
Yeah, they had
I don't
the
know if it's
entire
anybody
lineup
that wants,
poster.
but it seems like they are. And I wonder if they're just going to figure out who of these guys that announce get the most traction, get the most likes, interactions, whatever, and then maybe they'll do something further with them. But at this point, I don't know that they're paying these athletes at all.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that sounds about right, because it's like, when I think about doing a deal usually is not like a one-day thing. I mean, I've had a couple where they're like, hey, here, we want you to do one post. Here's the amount of money. And I say, okay, that sounds like a good amount of money. And I make, do the post or whatever. But generally speaking, if there's some kind of deal, it takes a while, right? We got to negotiate what you want from me, what I want from you, how we're going to execute on all of that. I got to get a lawyer or something to look at it, or my agent. You guys will have your lawyer give feedback on your end. And it kind of takes a while. And I think that kind of feeds into what we saw, is we didn't see a lot of major deals last weekend. Because honestly, we were talking on the show last week, and no one was really sure what was going to happen until July 1st hit. Is it going to be these 4 states? Is it going to be everybody? And so now, you're more, say like a Rutus, right? I know them because I deal with them. I know they do things correctly. They're going to start looking and saying, okay, here's our choice of athletes. Who are we going to go after? And then they're probably going to go start talking to those people, make them some kind of offer. And it's going to take 2, 3, 4 weeks to actually get something done.
100%. Back to the Barstool thing, if the question is, what do I want from you? What do you want from me? It seems like a lot of these athletes want to be associated with a company that they think is cool. And what Barstool wants is all this interaction online. They started this account, the Barstool Athlete account, last week, and they have 33,000 followers just in a week. So they're getting what they want out of the deal. I don't know if they're giving away a t-shirt or what. I saw that one of the questions on the application is your like merch size. So my guess is they're giving out t-shirts and they're getting a whole bunch of positive interactions online.
So which one is the account? Is it Barstool Athletics? Is that the one that's giving out the t-shirts?
I don't know if they're giving out t-shirts for sure. It's Barstool Athletics. That's the one that's announcing all the sponsorships. And you can scroll through and see it appears they're taking just about any athlete from any sport.
Oh yeah, I see this link. They're definitely advertising it.
That's
sure. Interesting, huh? I wonder what their whole goal is going to be. Or maybe it is literally just making online posts here, and then that way there's really no contract. It just says okay, yeah, and that's strange.
Yeah.
Well, and like Bray said, they might be like figuring out and weeding out who really is popular. They're getting interactions still with these lower level guys, but then they see, oh, Gable Steveson got so many thousand retweets and likes. Okay, let's actually move forward with a little bit of a partnership with this guy.
But if you're Barstool, what does that mean? Because get me wrong, Barstool is a news media platform of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch Barstool all that much. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you going to actually have those guys do news? Are you going to have them do only exclusive interviews with you, and you can't do interviews with anyone else? Or like, what exactly is it that you could
That's
get?
Maybe what they'll figure out. Maybe they'll sell merch.
But then you would limit yourself. Barstool's not a merchandise company, so you think if you're Spencer Lee or
they're
Gable,
a pretty big merchandise company.
Barstool is?
Yes, they make a lot of money selling apparel.
I'm looking this up. Listen, I just tried typing in barstool.com, and it gave me a picture of Portnoy and Trump. So I don't know how much of a merchandise company they are.
Well, I do think they're going to figure this out as they go. And they're like, well, let's see how athletes respond. And then they weed it out, right? I'm looking at a guy named Justin Janke, Washington State. He posted his endorsement like 13 hours ago. He's got 12 likes. That guy, who cares? But then David Carr, who posted roughly in the same timeline, he's got almost 400 likes. So they're like, okay, maybe we can do something with this guy. Maybe we pay him to wear a Barstool t-shirt at some event, or we do whatever, and maybe we do an interview with him. We do some kind of content with him, get us more fans in the Iowa State fan base. I don't know.
And Portnoy came out with the video and said somebody reached out to him, an athlete reached out to him, and was like, hey, can I be a Barstool athlete? And he's like, I don't know what that means, but sure, I like it. Let's do it.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so they were like, okay, whoever wants to be a Barstool athlete, you can, and we'll figure it out later.
Dang. Hey, so
because it's been the wild west, and it's going to be probably for the next couple days, week or so, until, like you said,
months,
big normal deals actually start getting done that normally take time.
So Nearfall is a wrestling shoe? I didn't know that.
I didn't even know that.
Interesting. Founded by two Oklahoma State champions, and they were actually both NCAA Division II national champions for Central Oklahoma.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I'm excited to see some major deals come out. What did you guys make of? It's not in the it's the next on the dock. But Gable Steveson said, "I'm going to go pro after the Olympics," and I've predicted that. But
he didn't say he was going to go pro. Said he was going to make his decision.
Right, I'm sorry. He said you're correct.
There's a very big difference.
He will make his decision. I think he's going pro.
I think it depends on how he does at the Olympics.
Is it wrestling or is it MMA? So you think if he doesn't do well, he's coming back, and if he does do well, he's gone? Is that what you think?
I think him not winning a medal at the Olympics makes it much more likely that he comes back.
Okay. Bro, what do you think?
Well, I wonder if he wins the Olympics and now all of a sudden he can take sponsorship money for Wheaties or for Nike or for whatever. Maybe that convinces him to stay around just a little bit longer, finish his degree. So I think there's a scenario in which name, image, likeness may give us an extended timeline with Gable. But I would right now bet he's leaning towards WWE.
I also think he doesn't know for sure. I think he just likes teasing people.
Yeah, I mean, well, and technically, I don't even know that he can get a real offer because obviously July 1st hit and you can get sponsorships. But I mean, having sponsorship and having an opportunity for employment are two totally different things, right? So if the WWE were to come calling, and like generally in MMA, the UFC or Bellator has signed people at 0-0, Aaron Pico being the biggest name. But UFC, I don't think they've ever done that. Or one really funny one was they signed the Russian heavyweight, and then he never ended up fighting.
Makhachev.
You know what I'm talking about? Makhachev, yes. So UFC does not have any historical data to signing people who are 0-0.
CM Punk.
Good call, CM Punk. Nice one. You guys are on fire. So, okay, CM Punk and Makhachev, those are the two historically that have been 0-0 when they were signed. But if it was a WWE, they're going to make some type of offer of employment, and so can an NCAA athlete receive an offer of employment? I don't even know the answer to that. We should have our compliance guy back on.
One thing that helps is that these athletes can have agents now, right, to help them navigate the name, image, likeness stuff. So I would hope that could be a conversation with an agent that would, because even before that, could you even have an agent as a college athlete?
No.
You couldn't even talk to agents.
Which is absurd.
Yes, totally absurd. So
that could help. My hope is that Gable wins the Olympics and he gets all kinds of sponsorship offers, and they want to, and those offers are enough money to keep him around the sport of wrestling for at least the end of his college career and maybe another Olympic cycle. But I don't know. I'm not super optimistic that that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to sign with the WWE soon after winning the Olympics.
I'm thinking that's what's going to happen too. That'd be a good pick, Bray.
It's a sad pick.
So. Sad pick. Hey,
so
have you guys
also teasing his UFC career on social media last night?
So is he going to leave college early like Gable or what?
I don't know.
He's got a while to go still. What do you guys think about the guys on Cameo? I've always elected not to do Cameo. I think it's kind of goofy, but if they're making money, that's tremendous. Have you guys got your
easy way to make
Gable,
money?
Have you guys signed up for your Gable GoPro or Gable Cameo yet?
I should. No. I have received one Cameo before, and it was like a total joke. It's the, I don't know.
Who was it?
It was so. Do you ever watch the show Last Chance U on Netflix? It's like about junior college football.
I remember you guys talking about it, but I've never watched it.
There is this coach named Jason Brown, and he's just like totally ridiculous. He just, all the things that you would discourage coaches from doing, like screaming at athletes, and I mean, like just being a total flake and all this problematic stuff, having no accountability for himself, no personal responsibility. He's that guy. He's a caricature of that kind of coach.
Content machine, though.
Content machine. Like when he was clearly at the end of the second season where he was the coach, he was going to get fired because he had just totally mismanaged this program. And he was saying things at the end like, I know these other ADs out there won't have the balls to hire me after this. It's like, dude, it's not about the ADs having the balls to hire you. It's about you, like, being a terrible person. Like, not a terrible person, but just a problematic coach. But anyway, I did receive a Cameo of that guy, and it was funny because it's like ironic and whatever. But the serious version of a Cameo, I haven't seen something like that. I don't know how that would look. I think it could be cool.
So did someone pay for it to prank you or something, or what?
Not like as a joke. It was as a joke, not as a prank, but it was like actually it was
to make you laugh. It's not to
make you laugh, yeah.
Make you happy on your birthday or something.
And in fact, it was Christian Piles. But
did it make you happy?
It was hilarious.
Okay.
Nice. So there's that, but I do think sending a Cameo from Spencer Lee to if I would have, I'm imagining myself as like a sixth grader or something, and if I would have got a Cameo from somebody like Spencer Lee, I would have probably watched that every day before practice and got all jacked up.
That's awesome. For only $25.
So that's not a bad idea. I should do that. I should get these guys all to I could write the pump up talk and I could have them, deliver it on Cameo and then play it for my athletes. Not a bad idea at all. Love it.
It's like it's easy way to make money.
Yeah. Cool.
What do you think about their prices, Ben? Gable was 50, RBY 30, Spencer 25.
I don't know. Because on the one hand, they're like, I believe it's a 30-second clip maximum. Maybe a minute if I'm wrong. I don't know. I just feel like that's a lot of money to pay for that short of a time. And I always felt like if I was doing it, I'd be ripping someone off. So that's why I never did Cameo. I just feel like the value proposition wasn't there. And so I don't know. Yeah, but you guys make good points. If someone, coach is going to pay for that to pick up his athlete or something, it's probably worth that much for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know how much money. So like I said last week, there's a lot of this inflation of what you're really making from people on social media to make themselves seem more important. So I've never actually heard how much someone has made on Cameo whom I trust. Like where I said like, oh, this dude's solid. I know they're telling me the truth. And they said they made X amount last month. I've never had that happen. So I don't know. I know exactly how much money people make on Cameo generally.
I do think that the one thing about Cameo that that's unfortunate is you're probably going to make more money if you are sending ironic cameos and so I know that for a while people were paying Mark McGrath, the former lead singer of Sugar Ray, who's totally irrelevant now. People were paying this dude to break up with their boyfriends or girlfriends on Cameo. So they would
why was that a certain song he had or something? I don't remember that.
No, it's not a song. I don't know how it caught on, but apparently
why'd they pick him?
I don't know. I have no idea. But he was doing it frequently. There are all these videos of him, calling in, and he's like, "Hey, Susan, I got some bad news for you." And he talks about the boyfriend, and they're gonna break up, and it's okay. You're gonna be fine.
That's funny.
Don't worry, whatever. But I also saw Anthony Scaramucci was doing the same thing, breaking up on Cameo for people. So that feels like maybe you lose a little self-respect if you're doing that kind of thing on Cameo. And I do think you're kind of, I don't know how beholden you are to the requests of the person that's paying, but I do think that's part of it. It's like you got to be willing to do whatever they want you to do.
You can accept or deny, I guess, from my understanding, you can accept or deny any of the requests that come to you. So if it says something too weird, you can be like, I'm out on this one, decline, or whatever it is. Yeah, I actually thought maybe I'd be popular for a minute because of the Boom Roasted segment where some friend could say, hey, say this to my friend, because to your point, that's what people are going to use them for. It's not like you can give any real good life advice or anything in 30 seconds. So, funny Boom Roasted read or something would be good.
Man, I got some great advice from Coach Jason Brown. He told me, you're either going to be the best effing employee or the worst effing employee. There's no in between.
I don't
actually think
I'm not sure that he's right on that one.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Probably a whole spectrum of employees. We should do that sometime. We should rank the Flow employees, on a little bell curve, like who's in the middle, who's the high end, who's the Mark Bader. He sets a standard, so he's the highest of high ends. But then we got to go down from there.
All right, let's do it.
Challenge accepted. Like I said, Gable Steveson actually did sign a pretty big or notable deal with GoPuff, the food delivery. It's a food delivery system, kind of like DoorDash, but I think more for snacks. I don't know exactly what all that entails for him or how he really helps them, but he obviously did an ad with them on social media.
I listened to the podcast. This guy was brilliant. The CEO of this company. I listened to podcasts with him. It was awesome. Nice work, Gable. 2 deals in the first week.
Yeah. I thought RBY's shoe raffle was brilliant.
Oh, was it like so I saw the deal. Do you think it was brilliant, or do you think he should have said, a limited amount of shoes instead of high price point? Because, man, I felt like if I'm a kid, I thought about this, who wants RBY shoes? I just want to buy the damn shoes. Tell me what the price is. I want to buy them. I don't want to enter a raffle where I have a small chance at winning these shoes. That would annoy me. What do you think?
I think if you're also a kid, you're not going to spend $1,000 on a pair of shoes.
You think Roman Bravo Young could charge $1,000 for a pair of shoes? I mean,
no, but I think he can make over that with a raffle.
25 pairs could he sell them for? 25 custom pairs, maybe signed also or something like that.
Well, yeah, if he has a particular shoe or whatever, but I'm saying he has this pair of shoes already. July 1, midnight, I'm going to go start a raffle, get rid of this pair of shoes, make, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 in this raffle.
Yeah. Well, I hope you made a lot of money, but I wouldn't like to enter. I would say if I'm an RBY guy, I want to buy a pair of shoes. I don't want to get thrown in a raffle here. Well, I want the damn pair of shoes.
Well, he can make his own shoe eventually, but that's not going to happen day one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he could. Maybe he could have. You know what? I had 500 funky shirts in the parking lot of Auburn Hills, slanging those things on Saturday of the NCAA finals. He could have done that. He could have made like 30 pairs of RBY shoes and sold them on day one.
He still can.
Too late now. Too late now.
He has months to do that.
Yeah.
This was a pair of shoes that.
And actually, he can't do that because that's on an official trip.
So you're doing me like Reggie Bush and taking my title away. I didn't sell them.
I mean, this pair of shoes though, this was like he didn't have to do any manufacturing work. He just had these shoes that he wore. Like JD's saying, and these were shoes that somebody made for him, like sent him to him. He didn't pay for these at all. So
ones.
Just pure profit.
Nice. Okay, I'm in. Good work, Roman Bravo Young.
One of the deals I've been really curious about, Christian Ball. Check this guy out. Oklahoma State backup. He has a deal with an office supply store. Seth Duckworth retweeted this. That's how I found it. An Oklahoma office supplier called Merrifield Office Supply. Christian Ball said, excited to team up with Oklahoma's premier office supplier, Merrifield Office Supply. They offer next day delivery on thousands of items, and their customer service is second to none. Check out
what
any
if
of their
this is a
locations. This dude has
what if
he's
it's
been
a
a backup now for a while. I don't know him, but he's got a deal.
Wait, guys, what if it's a prank? Because, what if he just wrote this tweet? Merrifield has never ever contacted him. He's just getting us to talk about it on radio. Because I want to be hesitant here because I've done this multiple times in the media. I did most famously with the Lamborghini in Singapore. I just took a picture next to the Lamborghini. I didn't say shit about it. And then all of a sudden these news medias are saying One FC gave Ben Askren a Lamborghini. And boom, they ran with it. Now people still ask me about that. To this day, people still ask me how my Lamborghini is doing. And I do not own a Lamborghini. I don't have one. I just stood next to it and took a picture, and that was it. So what if Christian Ball said, I'm just going to pick a company.
Interesting.
Who knows?
Choice.
Maybe it's his mom's company or his dad's company. Or I don't know whose company it is. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think Merrifield's going to gain much value out of this relationship. But they did get 40 likes on the tweet, so maybe.
Well, how dare you question the integrity of Christian Ball? Because I just found another tweet. I just put it in the doc from Merrifield Office Supply. Although the Merrifield Office Supply account only has 348 followers, so who knows? But they put out this flyer with him on it.
What is this, Joey Sanchez?
Wait a minute.
The one you just posted said
it says they tagged Joey Sanchez, but they have the picture of Christian Ball. What in the world is happening here?
No, that's got to be. See, you're getting pranked right now.
We're getting totally pranked. Hold on.
You're totally getting pranked. You can't run stuff in the news media. You need to go ask them for a comment.
Wow, they got Joey Sanchez. They're really cornering the market.
Lineup. This is what we talked about last week, where if some wealthy booster, donor, or whatever wanted to give some kids some money out of the kindness of their heart, they could definitely do that and then say, hey, make a few social media posts for me. And that, that way they're paying them for doing something, not for nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's funny.
Where is this Merrifield Office Supply located? Stillwater,
Oklahoma's
Oklahoma?
number one. Yeah, number one supplier.
The Joey Sanchez gift they put up is really great. It's got a bald eagle with a do-rag and an American flag, and then Joey Sanchez. So maybe they got enough money to sponsor 2 athletes.
They are definitely. And so did you? I'm scrolling through their Twitter. It says, I had not heard of your company before your sponsorship with Joey Sanchez. I really appreciate you for sponsoring wrestlers, especially blah, 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 blah. Oh, man, that'd be fun. I would have my friend email them, and then they're just going to keep giving me money because they think new people are buying their stuff.
Just keep creating new emails. Emailing to them yourself.
So awesome.
Man,
this is great.
I'm very curious about why they chose the guys they chose. Oh, Christian Ball is from Stillwater, so that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The last tweet before all these was February 6, 2020.
Joey Sanchez went to St. Paris.
Maybe they're out of business, and Joey Sanchez and Christian Ball bought them, and they're sponsoring themselves. What about that one?
Christian Ball and Joey Sanchez went into business together.
And they're pumping up Merrifields. I love it. Great idea, guys.
Yeah, they're getting us to talk about them for 10 minutes.
I feel like we got so excited. We got so excited about NIL stuff. People are going to be getting so much money, and now we're talking about Joey Sanchez and Christian Ball. A Merrifields office supplies deal. Like they're going to be Joey Sanchez is going to get the starting lineup next year, and he's going to come out with two staplers in his holster and start shooting the staplers.
He's gonna come out in the cabinet, bust open the doors with a stapler, and then
stapler and a glue gun. He's like,
oh, so great. Okay, let's go to some real news.
All right, on to some real news. Ed Ruth was named the Illinois assistant, Poeta's first hire, and I think it's a great one.
Absolutely. So I think this means Ed Ruth we kind of guessed he was done fighting, but I didn't think there was ever a real full statement. So this probably means he's fully done. He wants to coach. I like it. I think he's going to be a great coach. One of the interesting things for him will be, can he teach what he did? Because he was so unique in his style and the way he worked. And then the second thing is we always talk about how Penn State coaching tree has gone nowhere to this point. He's actually one of the first Penn State guys that was under Cale for, I believe, the entirety of his career to go out and coach somewhere else.
Good points. It was a little bit curious to me because he had just gotten to NC State, had been there for just a few months, and now is moving on already. But I do think Poeta is very smart to get a guy like Ed. When you look around at the people who have been coaching for a while, I don't know that there's anybody who compares to Ed in terms of name cachet and celebrity and just, being that electric. So I think that's big. From what I hear, he's already been on the recruiting trail. He's talking to recruits already, and that I think is going to make a big impact. And they've already got Christian Carroll signed for the class of 2023. You got to imagine that this is going to be and Cannon Webster, but I'm thinking about the upper weights. You got to imagine this is going to be a guy who's going to be really attractive to top recruits in those 170 and up weight classes. So I think it's a really smart hire while they're already off to a big start in the class of 2023.
And the recruiting thing will be interesting because, like you said, he got to NC State, but he was at the Wolfpack RTC specifically where you're not doing any recruiting. So the coaching experience he got won't necessarily transfer to recruiting expertise, but if he's already getting on it, good for him.
Yeah, I agree. I like the pickup. I for whatever reason that wasn't on my radar. I did not think Mike Potter was going after Ed Ruth at all. I don't think anyone was talking about it. But really good pickup, and I'm interested to see how that turns out with him as a coach.
9 months ago, I don't think I thought about Ed Ruth as a coach. Period.
Because he left the wrestling game kind of completely. I mean, he went and fought and. It was like, some of these guys who go and fight, you still see them back once in a while. They're doing stuff with their old teams. They're in their wrestling rooms. And we didn't really see that Ed he was kind of doing his own thing. So, awesome to have him back full-time for the wrestling community.
There was this notion that the big thing for Illinois would be to kind of put a fence around the state and keep the best Illinois recruits in state. What do you guys make of them pulling in a guy that's out of the state, but can maybe have inroads in Pennsylvania? I mean, what do you guys think about just that part of it?
I mean, the whole fence around the state thing is always interesting to me because when you look at the top two programs right now, Iowa and Pennsylvania, it's like, Penn State, if you put a very literal fence around Pennsylvania, you could make an NCAA Division I championship team, right? Cale has essentially not really done that. He's kind of went and recruited from everywhere. And then Iowa has literally, they put a fence around Pennsylvania they went and stole half their lineup as Pennsylvania kids. And so, Illinois is definitely one of those top tier states. They could definitely benefit from keeping kids home. And historically, for whatever reason, they have not been very good at keeping their best kids home. I don't know if it was because of the coaching or because there's something where, the Chicago's up here and Champagne's down there. And there's just not from familiarity or something. But obviously, Poeta is kind of a Chicago guy. He ran a club there for a while. If he can't do it, then I don't know if it can be done.
Yeah. So thinking of the value in the room, Ben, you said something earlier. You wonder if he can teach the things that he was able to do. What's the difference in value between a coach who is a partner who can give you feels you're not going to get anywhere else versus a coach who can work with you to kind of impart the actual skills? And I don't know, what are the two differences in value there?
Yeah, well, Ed Ruth is, his feels are so unique. There's some things where, I'll be wrestling some of my guys, and there's a couple things I do that like nobody else does. And they're like, well, how do I stop that? I'm like, you don't need to stop it. It's irrelevant. Nobody else does it. What's the point? And so that's kind of how I feel about Ed Ruth. It's like a few things he does, like very literally nobody else does. And so what is the value of learning to stop that? To beat Ed Ruth in the room? Like, who gives a damn? You're not trying to beat him. He's your coach. Right, you're trying to beat other people in the tournament, and so I know for me, it definitely took a while. There's still certain things that I'm like, I think that I can't remember what it was. It was maybe a month ago where there was something where I was like, oh shoot, I was missing something. There was like something that I did when I was doing this move that I wasn't explaining that part of it correctly, and I always kind of wondered like, why is no one able to execute on this technique that I'm showing? I know I do it. When I wrestle live, I get it a lot. But no one else that I'm teaching is getting it. And why aren't they? And then you have to think, I missed this one part. And I know or with cradles, for example, there's this one little detail I call the collarbone on the cradle line. Dude, I didn't figure out how to teach that till like 2015 or 2016. And I was doing cradles since 1999, And so I wrestled with Ed twice, just kind of playing around. There's this one thing he does that's like it's slow then fast. It's a really interesting way he kind of fakes and moves. And it's like, I don't want to say I don't think I've ever felt anyone else do it the way he does it. So it's like that was unique. It's a great timing point. And if he could teach other people to do that, it's a highly effective technique because to your point, you don't feel it against anyone else. So if then you're able to do that, people struggle with the timing aspect of it. Can he teach that to other people? And we'll just pick on that one skill. If he can teach that to other people, yes, it's going to be awesome. And but some people really struggle to teach what they're doing, and especially when it's as unique as he does. And I would guess, obviously, Cale and Penn State have done some of the things that he's done, but there's some things that are really unique and endemic to him.
Yeah, that's a good point. You go back and watch Ed Ruth videos, and it's like you still don't see a ton of traces of the way he wrestled throughout the wrestling world. He hasn't sent those ripples the way that things that some other wrestlers did. So I hope he can. I think it's a really interesting pickup for Illinois. It's one of the more intriguing assistant coach hires I think over this whole offseason.
And I think if you're an Illinois fan, it's a reason to get excited. When Poeta was hired, obviously you think that's a good hire, but he's been under Heffernan for I think 4 years now as an assistant, and the team hadn't really changed that much in 4 years. So he gets hired, and you're hoping this is gonna kind of flip a switch, but maybe it won't necessarily right away light a fire underneath that team because he's been part of the culture that's kind of been at the same level for so long. But then he brings in a hire like this, and it's kind of like an extra little, okay, no, this is hope that we can improve.
I feel like they have been. I mean, not obviously they haven't been getting crazy better, but I feel like they had a really solid team this year. I guess I would have to go back and look at their historical teams to see have they actually gotten a lot better, or is it just my imagination, or because I like Poeta, so I'm thinking like he's making a difference. But I feel as though kind of as a whole team they are definitely getting better. They were kind of strong top to bottom this year. But I know they've always had historically kind of good kids, but I don't know. I felt like this year they were good.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? I could be wrong.
No, they
do it.
have done well, and I wanted to look at. I was looking at some of the numbers from Coach Heffernan. He's been one of the more consistent producers of All-Americans throughout his career. I think JD said like same level. They have, I think, relatively stayed at a similar level over the last decade and a half or whatever that Heffernan's been the head man, but that level has been pretty high. And I think you're right that there's a question of will Poeta elevate them. Anytime there's a coaching change, you hope that you'll go from wherever you're at to a higher level. But I do think that they are performing better than a lot of people maybe perceive of them. And I have All-American numbers here somewhere that I can look for in a second. But I do think that they've been performing well. But to JD's point, as a fan, you hope anytime there's a change, it's a catalyst for even better, for even more. And I do think Ed can help people get excited, in addition to the announcement of a really strong start of a recruiting class for 2023. So I think it's a great hire for that reason. But I do want to pull up these numbers really quick while you guys are talking.
So yeah, it's okay. So this year, man, yeah, like, Cardani, for example, had a pretty solid year, but he didn't go to the NCAAs, and obviously it's a very unique year. Broadnagles both had bad NCAAs, but obviously they both had pretty solid seasons. Luke Luffman, I think you would say the same thing about, and they had Lucas Bird and Dylan Duncan All-Americans. So, yeah, they didn't finish super high. What was it? 18th place. Yeah, I guess I see
Top
a point,
20.
JD.
I think
Not
Heffernan
terrible, not good.
averaged something like 2-point or 3-point All-Americans per year.
Heffernan, I'm looking at Dan Gable's coaching tree, and the way I defined that when I was doing the research was guys that wrestled for Gable, not just guys that coached with him or that were associated with him. And Jim Heffernan, in his 23 seasons, and I didn't include this season, I haven't run those numbers yet. Or sorry, not 23 seasons. He had 11 seasons as head coach that I factored into this calculation. And in those 11 seasons, he had 23 All-Americans and 4 NCAA champs, which is 2.09 All-Americans per year. And that's the fourth highest of anybody in Gable's tree.
Really?
Yes.
Anyone in Gable's tree? Well, do you have the list of Gable's tree? Because now I want to know what Gable's tree is.
Yeah. So Tom Brands is leading that race for All-Americans per year. And again, I haven't factored in this year yet, so these numbers will change. But 5.25 All-Americans per year for Brands. Tom Ryan is next, 2 2/3. Jim Zaleski just over 2.5, and then Heffernan 2.09.
Wow, that's funny because when you think about it, if you said Jim Zaleski and Tom Ryan, you would not think they were just a little bit above Jim Heffernan. You would think that there was a significant gap between them. That's very interesting. So that means like Barry Davis and Dwayne Goldman and all those other people are lower, obviously, right?
Yeah. Barry Davis averaged just under 1 All-American per year.
Just under? No, that can't be right. Under 1? I mean, I don't
Barry
love Barry
Davis coached for 25 seasons, Barry Davis was just over 1. He coached for 25 seasons and had 27 All-Americans.
I feel like that number's not right.
Number's right.
We can research it later. I don't think it is, Bray. Listen, I'm not a Barry Davis. I don't love Barry Davis, but I pay attention to All-Americans in Wisconsin. I'm gonna Google it. Who else is on that list?
So after Heffernan, Mike Deanna at Edinburgh, he was like the first one to leave from Gable and go coach. Gable basically like gave up his assistant to Edinburgh to get that program rolling. He had a couple per year. Kevin Dresser is on that list. Brad Penrith, Tim Suzuki. How do you say it?
Suzuki. Yeah. Yep.
Suzuki at Northwestern. Dwayne Goldman, Doug Schwab, Barry Davis, Greg Randall, Terry Brands for a brief moment. What?
Because Terry. What's Schwab at?
Doug Schwab, not including last year, was 11 All-Americans in 10 seasons.
11. Dang, man. When you think about it like that, it seems like doesn't it seem like it's easy to get more, and then you put like Doug Schwab's only at 11 in 10 seasons. You're like, holy crap, wow.
Yeah, I mean, you have 1 or 2 seasons where nobody makes the podium. It really hurts your average.
Seriously.
Yeah, for sure. And also, the thing that maybe Heffernan benefited from was he had a lot of years as an assistant coach. So when he took over, it wasn't a total rebuild. It wasn't a program in distress. Whereas, you mentioned Tom Ryan. I mean, he started at Hofstra and took that program and built it up and had a lot of years without a ton of production. Similar for, who else? Guy like Kevin
Jimmy
Dresser,
Zaleski?
at Virginia Tech. They were going to cut that program. He had to build it up.
Wait, what's Kevin Dresser at?
Dresser,
he's done a great job either. Also,
Dresser was at 27 All-Americans in 14 years before this year.
Wow, damn that man! And when you put that in perspective, Heffernan did a great job.
For sure.
Yeah, nice. So hold on. Oh, you're okay. I see why. I think I'm confused. You're counting the total number of people who All-American, not the total number of
finishes.
All-Americans.
No, the total number of finishes.
No, because I'm counting Wisconsin's right now. They got one. I'll get a total for you later, but I think Barry's a little higher.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think the correct number would be for All-Americans would be what you said. But yeah, let's move on. Sorry, sometimes I get stuck on things.
One last Ed Ruth nugget. He's remembered as a great wrestler, but I think people do kind of forget now that we're 10 years removed just how good he was. He has the highest winning percentage of any Penn State wrestler.
Wow.
Of any Penn State wrestler?
Of any Penn State wrestler.
I remember we had this debate. It was me, KB, and piles of the. So we essentially picked our top 5 Penn State guys, which the top 5 under Keel's era. It's pretty unanimous that it's Nolt, Nickel, Rutherford, Taylor, and Ruth. And I don't remember, this is like a year ago, but we had the statistics. So we only had like 3 college losses or 4?
College
how many did
losses.
Zane
He was
have?
163 and 3.
And how many did Zane have? Zane had 4, because he had. Yeah, I think Zane had 4, Zane had 3, but he had less wins. That's what it was, maybe
3.
Yeah,
but those were all his freshman year.
Yes, dang, so crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, thinking of all the guys that came after Ed, that he's got the highest winning percentage is pretty wild.
That's seriously wild.
All right.
Yeah, so I think I could do great things at Illinois. I'm excited to see that. The Frank Pirelli news was, I don't think that was all that interesting because he's someone who's been around the program kind of forever.
Yeah, a little bit. It's still just a good hire for Mike Gray, I think, and to show that they're still moving on with the Spartan Combat RTC.
Yeah, definitely. And then between that and Gwizdowski last week, pretty damn good pickups.
For sure. So thinking about the Spartan Combat RTC, they haven't always had a real prominent head coach figure, have they?
It's kind of been Mike Gray.
Mike Gray.
But like you said, he's double duty. But I think it's good definitely to have a dedicated RTC head coach.
Yeah, that in and of itself is a big sign. I mean, and Pirelli obviously has been around the senior level forever. He competed for a long, long time, and he's going to know the ins and outs of that system. And so I think it makes sense.
Although it could be a little worrisome as well, in that makes it clear that Mike Gray is really going to focus on Cornell and not as much the RTC.
Yeah. I don't know. That staff has always been like kind of involved in all aspects. You see Coach Cole in the corner at freestyle events along with Gray. So I have a feeling Mike Gray will still be plenty involved with the freestyle side of things.
Yeah, definitely.
More freestyle news Ryan Deacon entered the last chance qualifier and at 70 kilograms.
Ryan Deacon still won't give us information about what he's doing next year. What's his deal?
Well, if anything, I think this is another sign that he might be done with college wrestling.
But why won't he just say it? Because I feel like we're like 6 weeks away from classes starting again, or 7 weeks. I don't know. Not the number of days of summer, but we're getting down to the nitty gritty of where he's gonna have to make a decision. So I wonder if it's one of those where Gable, where it's like, I wonder if how he does is a dictator of whether he wrestles or not. Like say he wrestles in this and then wrestles in the world team trials, right? The non-Olympic weight world team trials, and he makes the team. Would that be where he says, "Oh, hey, I'm on the team. Now I'm gonna go wrestle this," and if I don't, then maybe I'll do the college season.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's likely. I am a little bit surprised he went back down to 70 kilos.
Really?
That's 154 pounds and change.
Well, he's barely ever wrestled 74.
He has the past 2 years, obviously, to bump up for the Olympic weight, but I think he's obviously just one of those guys that looks way bigger than he is, but it's like every time, it's like, how does he make this weight?
Yeah. No, I mean, that's probably where he should be. Obviously, any of those 70 guys that can make 70 and not wrestle 74 with Dakin Burrows and whoever else finds their way there, is 70's a better chance for sure for them to make the team.
Ben, I just looked at the link that you sent me about Barry Davis. Got to circle back. Yeah, you're totally right. He had 46 All-American finishes. So his average.
How'd you count that fast?
Huh?
How'd you count that fast?
Hey, listen, I've been counting for years.
That was lightning. I think that looked like
Rain Man over here.
I've been counting for years, but his average is 1.84.
That's pretty solid. I mean, that's not Jim Heffernan numbers, but it's yeah. I knew he had a couple four-timers in there, so I was like, yeah, I think it was the total number was whatever you said, like 27 or whatever. But
yes,
you had Pritzloff had 4, and then there was a couple of guys with 2 and 3. So that was a big deal for him.
Yeah, but so that's good. That moves him actually right behind Kevin Dresser.
Nice. Solid. Hey, so Keyshawn Clark to North Carolina.
Yep.
But that's a weight they didn't really need all that much, right? Because they had obviously Austin O'Connor, 149-pound national champion, and depending on where he goes, because there's been talk about him bumping up, but they also have oh my gosh, the kid from Wyoming 7 that's really good,
Lachlan McNeil.
Yeah.
But they can redshirt him.
Oh, because he was,
and then wrestle Clark this year, and then bring him in next year.
Yes,
and it's another good partner for Lachlan. He's kind of a rental guy. I mean, a one year rental, and then you're good. It's a good move for Keyshawn Clark. I think we talked about before. He's like pre-law or something, so now he gets a head start on law school, or maybe he gets through in a year. I don't know, but good deal for him. Wrestles for a year with Austin O'Connor, gets a lot better. Lachlan McNeil gets a lot better, and then all of a sudden, they're good for this year and the future.
Yeah, it's a big pickup for North Carolina.
Other transfer news: Joe Grello to Oklahoma.
From Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
Is, huh? I didn't even realize Joe Grello was in the portal.
Yeah, he's been in the portal a while. I can go find the transfer check and look at when it was exactly. But he also, on his graphic, it said 165. He's been wrestling 174 pretty much his entire career, where he qualified, but I guess he's going down.
Yeah, that's I'm thinking Ant-Man.
That's Ant-Man's little brother. Troy Man.
He maybe get redshirt or something. He's not very good.
He's definitely doesn't have the credentials that Anthony does. So maybe that's where Grello saw the opportunity. Oklahoma's been pretty good in the transfer tracker.
Yeah.
Who have they picked this offseason? They've picked up, well, not just this offseason, but last year they picked up more.
Joey Prada, right?
Yeah, they picked up Joe Grillo now. They picked up Keegan Moore. They picked up Joey Prada. Yeah. I mean, those are three pretty solid guys.
Where in your website is the transfer portal now? I'm trying to find it. Oh, I found it. Click on news. There's transfer tracker. I feel like it's been a while since we had some big transfers. This is kind of the first ones in a little bit. And then it feels like there's a lot of people without homes. So, like, if you go in the portal and you don't get picked up, do you just say, like, I guess I'm done? Or what do you do?
My guess is that a lot of these guys are transferring to D2, D3, or NAIA schools, and they just maybe haven't made that a public announcement. So, there's probably more guys committed than we know about. I would guess that a lot of smaller schools would be happy to give some of these guys some money. But I also think there are a lot of guys that think they're going to transfer, and then they are not going anywhere. They're going home.
The NIL thing where you think you're going to make a lot of money, and then there's not much out there for you.
Boom. Yeah, there's
also Boudreaux went in the portal last week.
Who does Minnesota have at 33? Unless McKee's moving up, but Ramos left because he couldn't beat McKee. So that's kind of an interesting move for Minnesota. I don't know who else they have behind Boudreaux.
133. Jake Gliva right now is probably the top guy, and then some of the guys coming in, some of the freshmen coming in. I don't know how ready those guys would be. A couple Wisconsin guys, right?
So they got, and obviously I was assuming they would redshirt, but Blaine Brenner is tough, and then Jagger Aish is also pretty good. So those guys will both definitely be 130 pounds. Obviously they're both really good. They both spent a little bit of time in the national rankings, but a year of redshirt I think does everyone good. But who knows? Maybe they'll get thrown in there.
Yeah, I would guess they're probably going to go with somebody like Gliva.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a little bit to adjust to that college schedule. So, yeah, I love Minnesota's got the 21-22 roster up already. They're freaking hustling.
You love to see it.
Love to see it. Oh, but they do not have the freshmen on here because Aish and Brenner are not on this roster. So this is only people who are coming back, no freshmen.
Maybe they have to wait until they get fully on campus and fully enrolled or whatever.
Yeah, probably something like that.
One last little news nugget before we get into questions. Bajrang update. The India Wrestling Federation came out and said in 1 week he'll be back to the mat. So no need to worry about his injury, if anybody was.
Hey, can I answer this first question right away? I got a funny story.
Go for it. Questions from friends. We're into it.
Old wrestling clips. Most entertaining, high-flying, kitchen sink throwing NCAA wrestler right now. Dude, so Chandler Rogers did a clinic with us. So we had 4 different college coaches to come do clinics with some of our Fargo guys a couple weeks back. Look, he did a great job. He really did. But the thing he started with, he goes, I always thought the first 30 seconds, either I'm getting put on my back or you're getting put on your back. And I'm like, oh God, because I've been stressing to my wrestlers, they want to force things. And it's like the match is 6 minutes. And if something's not there in the first minute and you force something you shouldn't force, now all of a sudden you're down by a bunch of points. Just wait till a minute and a half or wait till 2 minutes or wait till something opens up. And if you do it at 2 minutes, you still have 4 minutes left. You don't have to force something. And he comes in and he goes, yeah, in the first 30 seconds, I'm on my back or you're on your back. That's how we're doing this thing. I'm like, oh, damn it. Oh, it made me laugh.
Hey, so you want to win over the fans. That's the way.
So Chandler Rogers, but he actually finishes eligibility, so I don't think I can use him as an answer for this question, although he would be a great answer for this question.
He would be. Guys that come to mind currently wrestling for me, Bryce Andonian's up there.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a great pick.
Pat McKee is up there.
Also a great pick. Barnett feels like a guy who, big move guy who either gets beat and goes, but keeps going for it the whole time. So kind of maybe fits that mold. I'm trying to scroll down the rankings so I can get some good one. Obviously, Dylan Ness historically is a great one.
Correct.
Who else? You got someone, Bray?
Tanner Cook, South Dakota State. That guy.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's a good one. That is a really.
He's
good
a guy.
one.
It's like, okay, set my arena alerts for this dude, and he might not win every match, but if it's a big tournament and he loses early, that's all the better because now you get to see him pin 9 guys on the backside. It's gonna be great.
I think he might be the best answer. Honestly,
he is so wild. Yeah. You ever coach anybody like that, Ben, where you're just like, man, I have no idea what's gonna happen here.
Not anyone to that extent. Because I think I would tell them, opposite of Chandler Rogers, I think I would tell them if they had this issue. Listen, okay, if they go out there and every single match they throw someone to their back and they pin them and they're undefeated, great, good, whatever, keep doing it. That's outstanding. But if they're going to try to force something and it's just not there and they keep getting put to their back because they're trying to force something, I'm gonna say, hey man, like I love that you throw some people. Let's do that when it's there. But hey, maybe if it's not there, like let's wait another 30 seconds or a minute, or like let's give it some time. Let's develop some more skills, so maybe we have a few more options, so we don't have to go upper body every single time. I think we would have that talk. So no one really comes to mind that meets that mold, unfortunately.
That's too bad. I hope one day that you're fortunate enough to have somebody like that.
I think I'd talk him out of it, unfortunately. Yeah, I think you guys picked the best ones. I don't think there's anyone else that.
And under the radar one, PJ Ogunsanya, Army West.
Really?
Yep. He'll put up some pins. He goes feet to back.
Okay. Yeah, man. I'm looking through the rankings, and I think you guys pulled out all the best ones.
I'm trying to think. There's got to be a couple more.
Tanner Cook's a good one, and Donian is definitely a good one for sure. I think those are the best ones. I really do. I've been scrolling through a lot of wrestlers here.
Peyton Omania.
Oh, the headlocks.
Headlock guys are always fun.
I feel like there's got to be a heavyweight, but which heavyweight is it? Because heavyweights are the ones that
Brandon Metz.
Once you get put in your back.
Metz Magic.
There you go. But I don't think he's got enough big wins to be in this category.
No, that's true. But he will. He's an anomaly too because he'll play the heavyweight game sometimes for the full 7 minutes of regulation, and then in overtime just try something completely unpredictable.
Yeah.
Plus the celebrations.
That is funny.
Ant-Man could sneak into this category sometimes.
100%.
Yeah. Ant-Man. Yeah. How do we miss him?
He's most dangerous when he's trailing by 8.
Yes.
He lulls you into that comfort level that comes with a major decision margin, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah, that's good. Lots of good picks. I love it.
All right, moving on. From Felix Suzek. If there is this made for the Pro-Am tournament at Funky Farms, what's a guy got to do to get one?
You know what? I need to get on that. I don't know that's happening, but I'm doing some things with Discraft, so maybe we can make that happen. That's next Tuesday. I'm gonna miss the show next week because of the Celeb Pro-Am.
Yeah. Make some funky fresh frisbees.
Funky fresh. So I think we're doing a funky disc maybe, but we could do a Funky Farms disc. That would be that could be cool also.
Who are the big pros coming to the old Pro-Am?
So we have unfortunately there's not tons of huge celebrities that play disc golf. Maybe someday in my dreams that'll come true. But as far as pros are concerned, like some of the really bad, so Paul McBeth, Simon Lizotte, Ricky Wysocki, Eagle McMahon, Kevin Jones on the male side, Paige Pierce and Brody Smith, and then Paige Pierce and Katrina Allen on the women's side. So that's like the 2 best women and like 6 of the best males. So some really, really good players.
What's the biggest celebrity?
Biggest celebrity is Andrew Zimmern. If you guys remember him, he was on. He's on almost 1 million following Instagram. He's a food show. My wife was pumped about that one.
Andrew Zimmern. Okay, experiencing food, sharing culture. AndrewZimmern.com. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it should be fun. I'm pumped. I've been actually forcing myself to play more disc golf now, and I'm really loving it.
It's a big sacrifice.
I'm so busy. I don't have time to get out on my own course and play, but I've been trying to play at least once a day now. So, yeah, it's good.
Shout out to my guy Dap in the Facebook chat. One we missed for most exciting wrestler is Dom Demas.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, but I don't feel like okay.
He can be very boring.
I don't feel like he gets put on his back enough.
Those couple high flying moves.
Okay, so like Tanner Cook, like he might end up on his back, or Ant-Man might end up on his back. He might also put them on their back. Dom Demas, I feel like has some really great ones, but then also like he doesn't have the negative side to it. Like you don't see him getting pinned. I mean, there was I think one time he got pinned, right? But it doesn't happen all that much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like if to be in that category that we listed, you have to both end up on your back and put them on their back, like both categories.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
All right, this one's from Chad Signs. So what has been the best thing to change in wrestling in the last 50 years, and what has been the worst?
That's a hard question because I don't believe any of us, I don't think we even existed in 1970, let alone followed wrestling in 1970. So I will stick with the period of 2000 because that's roughly when I started wrestling when I was about 15, 16 years old. And I will just say it's a lot of it has to do with flow, but I will make a broader category so they say I'm not a homer. The ability to actually follow wrestling. I passionately loved wrestling in middle school and high school. You couldn't follow wrestling worth a damn. Like you had to wait till magazines came out and read results. You couldn't watch matches. So just in the last 20 years, the ability for to watch, I can watch with Flow now, I can watch matches from across the globe internationally whenever I want pretty much. I just flip on my phone, boom, I'm going. It's tremendous. That's it for me, for sure.
That was huge. Yeah, I grew up in the same era, and I mean, my bedroom wall is just like wall to wall posters of wrestlers. But you couldn't watch the matches. I grew up in Colorado Springs, so I at least had access to the Olympic Training Center to go like meet athletes and stuff. But I mean, we were all so hungry for wrestling that I would talk my parents into going to a fundraising banquet so we could like sit and at least listen to a couple of wrestlers give a speech and sit through it for 3 hours to try to get an autograph. But you still couldn't see any wrestling. I mean, it was just like,
sucked.
It did. So that is big. But I would say the other thing, the worst, the thing that I think set wrestling back, and then the correction of this was one of the best things, was the best of 3 periods ball draw era. That killed wrestling. I think that was the worst thing that could have happened. I think without that, the Olympics don't get yanked. So that was terrible. Correcting that and a kind of concerted worldwide effort to make the sport more entertaining, I would say, is another one of the biggest, most positive parts of the sport.
Yeah, that's what you got, JD?
I think the rise of women's wrestling, especially in the next 10 years, will be in this same conversation as well with, the ball draw era. We're going to look back and think, what was going on so many years ago, not having women's wrestling as an Olympic sport.
The changes are really interesting. I mean, I was at Women's Nationals this year, and you think about wrestling parents, and you think about dads, and I don't know if I've talked about this show or who's number one, but at Women's Nationals, it was a lot of moms coming up and talking wrestling, and moms in the corner coaching their kids, and there's just a larger fan base, right? There's now more people, even in the same family, that are going to be advocates of wrestling, that are going to understand it, that are going to help kids like get into it. And I think, yeah, of course. I mean, that's a huge development.
Absolutely.
Do we have any answers for the worst changes?
Worst? Oh man, let me think. I feel like wrestling has been changing for the better, significantly.
The drop in programs has been terrible.
And
really hurt wrestling, but
that's probably the best answer, right?
Yeah.
Or the expansion of the USSR into like 15 different countries, but that would just be from an American-centric perspective. I think probably for wrestling as a whole, it's probably positive that there's more good competitors at the World Championships.
Yes.
Yeah, no dropping programs. That's it. Number one answer.
All right. Who are some past college wrestlers who would have benefited the most from NIL had they had the opportunity?
Steve Mocco.
Mako's up there. It's
Mocco is legend. Metcalf probably.
Metcalf, Dakin Taylor could have.
Dakin Taylor, yeah.
Gable probably back in his day sounded like he was as big as any athlete almost at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Darion Caldwell would have had a really strong moment.
Is the one thing I looked at is that so many of so many of these guys, like they don't think they're getting paid big bucks, but the amount that are really going to get paid the big bucks is not all that many. And like when I graduated college and I was actually able to get these sponsorships, I'll tell you straight up, I didn't make that much money. Like Adidas was not paying me that much, and I think I had maybe one other sponsor. They just weren't big dollars. And now 2020 is a little different. So I think you look historically, the answer would be only a couple of people probably over the course of time would have really benefited that much. It's a kind of a lame answer, but I think it's the truth.
All right. Last question from Adam Rush. At Raider JD, have you made any updates to your Russian wrestler Instagram top 5 list? I think Zamalov is creeping into the top 5.
What do you do?
He's just kind of upped his Instagram. He's recent. He's only been on the past couple months. Put out a couple horse pics, couple car pics.
Horse pictures, great.
I'm big on the horse content.
How close are you to buying a horse, JD?
I'm good.
Oh, JD's a horse guy?
I mean, I don't know.
The part is right now in my 1-bedroom apartment, there's not really a good place to keep a horse.
Okay.
I feel like if you went outside Austin by about 30 minutes or so, that they definitely allow horses out there.
There's definitely some stables on the outskirts.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, occasionally you'll see people riding horses downtown.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Instead of, hopping in your nice fancy car, driving around downtown showing off, people get on their horses.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like you could pull it off because you got the moped, you've got that kind of thing. I could see you pulling off a horse.
I would love to have a horse.
You just gotta find a place.
My wife's been trying to buy a goat, but I've been nixing that one.
A goat?
Yeah, because we have all these like rock walls, so she thinks the goat would eat all the rubbish off the stuff that's in between all the rocks and stuff. And I just don't want to deal with a goat. It does not seem like something I want to do.
No, goats are cool, especially if you get a fainting goat. That's straight entertainment.
A fainting goat?
You don't know what a fainting goat is?
They just pass out or what?
Yes. That's like a possum plays dead.
Yeah.
They faint. It's hilarious. You just clap at them, flinch at them a little bit, and they just pass out.
That's too funny.
All right. Think about it.
All right. I think that's all we have time for today. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about. We'll figure it out.
We are only 1 month from the Olympics. I saw a graphic yesterday. The 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th are when our guys wrestle at the Olympics. So we're not all that far away from that happening.
There we go. Maybe we'll do a little Olympic.
Fargo.
Cadet Worlds.
Fargo rosters are starting to come out. Maybe we wait another day, get some more rosters, and we can get a little deeper into it. Cadet Worlds also on the horizon, so we got some stuff to talk about. All right, thank you all for listening. For Ben Askren, David Bray, I'm JD Raider. See you next time.